guys, welcome back. So this video is going to be about my top 5 living ceramic artists. So yeah, let's jump right into it. I myself, work with ceramics to create like these types of like ceramic sculptures. Those ones are still in the making. So I thought it'd be interesting to kind of list down like just 5 artists that are currently working with clay to create unique artistic kind of sculptural objects. I think there's a lot of possibilities with working with clay. Some people think that, if it's clay, you can only make pottery, it can only be functional. And I think what I'd like to show you is that there's more possibilities of clay than just making functional objects. It can also be sculptural. So how did I find these artists? Well, I think for me it connects to me on a personal level, because obviously I have to be interested in the artist's work. I have to realize that there's a message that they're trying to communicate, or I have to like the aesthetic of it. And I think that goes in general for all types of art. I often find it difficult, thinking about, well, how do people or anyone really, whether that's in the established art world or anyone in general, how do they figure out what is good art, what is bad art? And I think for me it all comes from a personal level, a personal connection. Just like listening to music. Some people might be more interested in rock music, and the next person would be more interested in listening to classical music. And so it caters for lots of different people's characteristics and tastes, and I think it's like that for art. So I just chose these artists based on my taste, really, on what I consider to be good art, but it might not be yours. But anyway, let's have a look. And stick around to the end of this video, and I'll also reveal a special artist at the end. So that'll be the sixth artist. Anyway, that'll be the sixth artist on the list. So stick around for that as well. So here we have it. Got a nice big pile of books. Yeah, this first book is this one's called the Pot Book, which is a bit ironic because it's implying that everything is pottery, but actually it's some of the work in here isn't really anything to do about pottery. It might have that kind of relationship, but on the other hand, it's some of the pieces in there are very sculptural. But anyway, putting the title aside, so let's have a look at the first artist I decided to choose. So I don't know if you can just about see that. So if you look on this one here, hopefully you can just about see that, covering my head. But anyway, this is the first artist on my list who I admire. His name is Michael Gerstein, if I've pronounced that correctly. He's from Denmark, and I think he started off as a potter, and he basically creates lots of thrown forms, like cylinders and cones that have been thrown on the potter's wheel, and then he cuts them up and joins them together. So you can see this kind of the inspiration, because you can see here that these are kind of, you can see that these are kind of like these industrial type thrown forms that have been cut up and joined together to create this kind of sculptural installation. And I really like this artist's work because of his approach from using the potter's wheel in a way to create these artistic forms. And I think that's pretty innovative, because like I mentioned earlier, people think, well, you know, with clay, or you might think, well, the potter's wheel can only be used to create functional objects, to create pottery. But I think this artist is highlighting the fact that, well, actually, you don't need to use the potter's wheel to create pottery. You can use it to create sculpture. And yes, I like how he's taken that tool and used it to create this kind of construction. And it looks very kind of industrial and very kind of, it reminds me of that kind of, that Russian artistic movement called the constructivist movement, I think it was, looking at, you know, dissecting forms and then rearranging them to create artistic expressions. So he's quite a big influence for my practice as well. So that's the first artist. And then this is another book called 500 Ceramic Sculptures, Contemporary Practice Singular Works. And I'll try and put the links to these books in the description, so if you're interested to check them out, hopefully I can put some links in the video where you can see where you can get these books. So anyway, in this book, the second artist I want to talk about is an artist on this page here. Yeah, I don't know if you can just about see that, not too much reflection from the light there, but his name is Ken Eastman. He's an artist based in the UK, and what I like about this artist's work is his approach to the vessel. You know, there's a vessel type look to his work. You know, it looks like it can contain something like pottery, but on the other hand, he's kind of twisted that concept and made it sculptural. So, you know, because your eyes led into the space, like the internal space, the exterior space, and you're looking at all these kind of geometric lines, all these soft lines. And yeah, I find his work really fascinating as well. Yeah, there's a kind of softness to it, and again, there's this kind of constructivist or this kind of construction type element to it, where you can see how these kind of pieces all kind of fit together. And I think he works with a process of using hand building, or, you know, creating slabs of clay, joining them together to create these sculptural pieces. And I think he also plays around with the concept of light and shadow. So yeah, he's second on my list. Yeah, I really like his these kind of experimental forms that just take on this kind of presence. The third artist on my list is Ron Nagel. Ooh, it's a big heavy book. So this is the artist's work here, and he's an artist based in the USA, in America. And what I really like about his work is that they're really, they're created in a way where there's no reference to function at all, to pottery. You know, this one is a completely closed off form, so you can't see into its internal space. And another thing about these forms is that they have this kind of tie to kind of abstract painting, because it's like he's using the ceramic form as a canvas to create his kind of paintings. So they're almost like these three-dimensional paintings that which utilizes form and color to create these very vivid objects. And yeah, there's something very funky about his work. You know, they really kind of pop out and come alive, and I like that richness to the depth of color, and and but I think they're all hand built, you know, and maybe there's also a surreal type element to it. So it could be put under the kind of genre of, you know, surrealist artists, but there's also an abstraction to it because there's no recognizable imagery within the form. So that's yeah, that's that kind of third on my list, and it's going back to the same book. It really is quite it's quite awkward holding this book. It's pretty heavy. I'll do my best. Yeah, so she is an artist. I think she's working and living in Belgium, and her name is Anne-Marie Louise. I think that's how you pronounce it, but maybe I'm wrong. I hope not. But that's her piece there. That's her work, and yeah, her work is usually very consistent within this style. And I think another thing I like about this is that she's also, like some of the previous artists, she's using kind of like the vessel form as a kind of starting point in some ways, with some of her pieces, maybe not all of them, but you can see like this internal space. And yeah, and then I think, I'm not too sure if these are thrown on the potter's wheel. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure if she throws these forms on the potter's wheel or if she hand builds them. But I like, what I like about her pieces is that they're very, again, very sculptural. They make your eye kind of want to wander around the form to see all its kind of curvature and slight variations of colour. And yeah, I think there's also like a reference to the body in there. It's very body-like, or very skin-like, and very soft. Yeah, it's a very soft-looking form, and that's what I really like about her pieces. So she's really interesting as well. Yeah, what's interesting, you can kind of see these lines on there, and they almost look like throwing lines. So, like, I don't know if you have experienced throwing, but you know, when someone is throwing on the potter's wheel, sometimes you'll see these lines embedded in the clay from where the person was lifting up the clay walls. So I don't know, who knows, maybe it was, maybe these forms were partly thrown on the potter's wheel. I'm not too sure about that, but it's very interesting. Yeah, and then this is the fifth artist on the list, and his name, so the book is called Cluj International Ceramics Biennial. So it's basically an exhibition catalogue, and I was lucky to have my ceramic sculpture selected for this biennial in 2015. But I hadn't realised until recently that one of my favourite artists, Alberto Bistros, I hope I pronounced his name right again, but he's from Spain, and his work is also in this catalogue as well. And I don't know if, hopefully you can just about see that. Hopefully there's not too much kind of glare on there, but he creates these sculptural pieces that I think they're inspired by nature. So I don't know if you can just about see. But it has like these kind of individual pieces. They look like kind of grass or some kind of plantations. And so I think he references nature, and I like the way he kind of uses these individual pieces to stick them all together to create a whole sculptural piece. And like with this one, your eye is kind of peered into the central space and the outside space. And yeah, his pieces are very delicate, and And yeah, I think they really do get me thinking about nature, or the fragility of nature. So he's based in Spain, I think. In Spain, and very kind of experimental, but there's no reference to kind of pottery or the vessel on there, because I think they're hand built, very kind of sculptural. So I really admire his work. And so now we're getting on to the sixth artist. Really can't pronounce that right at the moment. Six. Artist number 6. So now we're getting on to artist number 6. Maybe that's better. And so this is the special artist. So thanks for sticking around to the end. And she is of course my wife, Wen-His Harman. And she had her work selected for the international, International Ceramic Biennial competition in 2015 for the Korea, I think it was the South Korea Ceramic Biennial. I can't pronounce the town that it was held in, or the city. I'm not going to try and pronounce that, but that was this is another exhibition catalogue. And so this is her work, and she creates these. Again, there's no reference to the vessel in there. They're very they're almost quite flat, but textured and sculptural in a sense. They're almost like paintings, but she uses her fingers. I don't know if you could just about see that, to create these pieces. And she uses her fingers to talk about her identity, and what it's like for her living between two countries, the UK and Taiwan. Very much about her Taiwanese identity, or her cultural identity, by using these fingerprints to construct these pieces. And they're wall pieces, so they can be they can be displayed on the wall. Very textual, lots of pink in there, and so that's artist number 6. And this, whoa, too heavy. Books. Oh, you can say hello. Who is Punchy? She can say hello. She doesn't want to say hello. Too shy. Maybe not. Maybe another time. But there's some other examples of her work from another exhibition catalogue. I think this one took place in Spain, another biannual, but kind of different. More these are more kind of plate-like forms, but again, reference to function, but not really functional. So really interesting. Anyway, that's a wrap then. That's my 5 top living ceramic artists, including number 6 being the special guest artist at the end of this video. So thank you for joining me this far, and I really hope that's given you some insight into the possibilities of using clay to create artistic sculptural objects, and that using clay doesn't have to be always associated with pottery or function. It can take on its own meaning. It can be fine art as well. It can fit into the art contemporary world, into the fine art contemporary world, or contemporary art world, whatever you want to call it, just through being innovative and looking at, using tools like the potter's wheel, or pinching clay, or slab building to create forms that get you to look at what you're seeing in a different way. And I thought it'd be interesting to share that with you guys, to let you realize that that there's a lot of possibilities when working with clay to create artistic works. So I really hope you've got something out of this video and it's opened your mind to new possibilities there. And but yeah, they're my kind of top artists, and until to this day I find them very inspiring, and they're just, it gets me thinking about what ceramics or what clay as an artistic medium can do. So anyway, thank you for watching this video. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you liked the video, feel free to like it. Also feel free to subscribe to Martin Harman Art TV, where you can be notified about new upcoming videos. And if you really like this content and want to support me in some way, you're welcome to check out my Patreon page, and I'll put the link in the description. And I'll also see if I can put the links to some of the books mentioned in this video, so you can also check them out if they're still around. So anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. And stay well, and explore the curious. So anyway, see you later. Take care. Bye bye.